The 1960s were as turbulent as they were transformative. Politically charged, culturally explosive, and linguistically revolutionary. The countercultural movement of the 1960s not only challenged social norms, but transformed the language we use to talk about identity, authority, freedom, and resistance. Let's start with the basics. The language of the 1960s began to reflect the deep generational rift that defined the decade. Young people, many disillusioned by war, racism, and consumerism, rejected the polished, formal English of their parents in favor of something rawer, more expressive. They didn't want to sound like the establishment, they wanted to shake it up. As a result, English became more informal, more colorful, and yes, more rebellious. Slang was central. Words like groovy, far out, and cool didn't just sound fun, they signaled a whole new worldview. Even today, we still use cool to mean impressive or admirable, and that linguistic staying power? That's legacy. The word trip, once used for physical travel, took on a psychedelic twist. Thanks to LSD and other hallucinogens, trip became a metaphor for inner journeys, altered consciousness, and spiritual exploration. And let's talk about blowing your mind. Before the 60s, no one's mind was being blown, at least not figuratively. But the counterculture repurposed language, creating phrases that captured emotional intensity and awe in ways English hadn't really done before. A concert, a poem, a political awakening, they could all be mind-blowing. Then there was political language. The rise of civil rights activism, anti-war protests, and second-wave feminism infused English with new terms and redefined old ones. Phrases like power to the people, make love, not war, and the personal is political weren't just slogans, they were linguistic weapons. They challenged hierarchies, galvanized communities, and opened up new ways of thinking about agency and identity. Even pronouns weren't safe. You started to see challenges to the generic he and increased attention to inclusive language, which, over the decades, would evolve into today's debates over pronouns and gender identity. In short, the 1960s counterculture didn't just leave a mark on fashion, music, or politics, it transformed the very way we speak and think. It gave English a shot of energy, loosened it up, and made it a living, breathing tool of rebellion and reinvention. Language, like society, was turned on, tuned in, and definitely not dropped out.